The traditional date for the fall of the Western Roman Empire is 476 CE, but what if, instead of collapsing, it underwent a profound transformation? This scenario imagines a world where the Roman Empire never truly fell, but instead adapted, integrated, and evolved into a new, resilient political and cultural entity. The Great Adaptation and the birth of Romano-Germania, 5th to 8th centuries. The critical divergence point is not a single battle or emperor, but a shift in imperial policy. Instead of viewing the incoming Germanic tribes as existential threats to be fought and expelled, a series of pragmatic emperors, beginning with the Majoran in the 5th century, initiated a radical program of integration. The Goths, Vandals, and Franks were not just tolerated, they were formally incorporated into the Roman military and administrative structures. Tribal leaders were granted Roman titles and lands in exchange for their loyalty and military service, forming a new aristocracy that was both Roman in its civic duty and Germanic in its heritage. This policy was formalized with the Edict of Majoran, which granted land and senatorial titles to key Germanic leaders, cementing their loyalty to the empire. This created a new social class, the Patrici Foederati, or federated patricians, who held lands in exchange for military fealty to the emperor. The old Roman elite, weakened by the internal strife and economic decline, found a new source of power and legitimacy in these alliances. Roman law was systematically adapted to accommodate Germanic customs through the codification of the Lex Romana Visigothorum. The new, blended legal code incorporated concepts like trial by jury and a more structured system of land inheritance, creating a unified legal framework that was both fair and enforceable. The economy shifted from a slave-based system to a more feudal-like model, with vast estates worked by free peasants and tenant farmers. Latin remained the language of government, trade, and learning, but it's absorbed Germanic landwords and grammatical structures, evolving into a more flexible and robust tongue known as lingua romana. This fusion gave rise to a new, unified identity, Romano-Germania. The old Roman heartland, including Italy, Hispania, and Gaul, stabilized and flourished under this new order. The capital, no longer seen as a single center of power, shifted its focus to a more federated model, with the emperor in Rome acting as the unifying figurehead over a vast network of loyal, semi-autonomous provinces. The provinces, or Romani Provincias, were granted a degree of self-governance, each with its own local senate, which sent delegates to the imperial senate in Rome. Religion also evolved, with the Christian church formally adopting a more decentralized structure that granted more autonomy and regional bishops, preventing the schism that plagued the church in our timeline. The Pax Romana Nova, 9th to 13th centuries. With internal threats managed and a new, unified cultural identity taking hold, the empire entered a new golden age of unprecedented stability and prosperity, known as the Pax Romana Nova. The borders, or limes, became thriving zones of trade and cultural exchange rather than heavily fortified military frontiers. Roman engineering principles, combined with the superior metallurgical and navigational skills of the Germanic peoples, led to technological innovations that outpaced historical timelines. Aqueducts and roads were not only maintained, but expanded, linking cities across the continent with unparalleled efficiency. The Via Romana, a massive network of paved roads, expanded from Hispania to the distant Roman city of Noricum in the north, facilitating both military movement and commercial trade. The arts and sciences thrived in an environment of imperial patronage. A new style of architecture, blending classical Roman forms with the more robust and intricate designs of the north, created majestic cities with domed basilicas and towering forums. This style, dubbed Gothico-Romanus, was characterized by massive stone arches, intricate stained glass, and soaring domes. The stability allowed for the flourishing of universities and libraries, leading to an earlier proto-Renaissance of learning. Scholars studied classical texts while simultaneously developing new fields of inquiry in mechanics, medicine, and cartography. A single, powerful, and integrated empire meant that resources could be pooled for ambitious projects, from grand infrastructure to the first true voyages of long-distance exploration. The Imperial Collegium of Navigators was founded to fund and organize expeditions, leading to the development of new sail designs and early versions of the astrolabe. A universal calendar, the calendar of Augustus, was adopted, based on the Julian calendar with improvements to more accurate calculation of a year. The Age of Exploration and Global Dominance, 14th to 17th centuries. When the whispers of lands beyond the Western Sea reached the empire, it was the Romano-Germanic navy that was best equipped to investigate. With centuries of unified development, the empire possessed a massive fleet and a network of ports across the Atlantic coast. The discovery of the American continents, the Nova Roma, was a Roman-led enterprise. The Roman legal system, with its intricate property rights and civic structures, was immediately applied to the new territories, leading to a more organized and less chaotic colonization than in our timeline. The new colonies were not seen as mere conquests, but as new provinces of the empire, with their own representatives in the imperial senate. This provided a framework for a more equitable, albeit still imperial system. The imperial's political structure had evolved into a constitutional monarchy, with power divided between a hereditary emperor and a powerful representative senate. This blend of ancient tradition and modern thought allowed the empire to weather the storm of social and political changes, including the rise of gunpowder and print. The empire was a vast, sprawling entity, but its core identity, its legal system, and its military supremacy ensured it remained the world's sole superpower. Gunpowder, while used by other nations, was mastered by the Roman military, giving them an insurmountable advantage. Proliferation of the printing press in imperial cities allowed for the rapid spread of imperial laws, scientific discoveries, and philosophical treatises, further unifying the vast realm. This era also saw the establishment of the Imperial Naval Academy in the city of Carthago Nova, modern-day Cartagena, Spain, which taught advanced navigation, cartography, and naval strategy. The imperial present, 18th to 21st centuries. In this alternate present, the world is dominated by the enduring Roman Empire. It is a technological superpower, its cities lit by fusion power, and its citizens connected by a global imperial network. The Imperial Senate, with representatives from all provinces and former colonies, debates issues of climate change, space exploration, and artificial intelligence. The Roman Empire is not a stagnant monolith. It is a dynamic, evolving state that has integrated millennia of human progress into its ancient framework. The world is still a complex place. There are rival states, such as the Sino-Nipponese alliance in the east and the Sultanate of Araby in the Middle East. But none can challenge the might of the Roman Empire, whose influence is seen everywhere from the legal systems of smaller nations to the enduring use of Neo-Latin as a language of international discourse. This is a world defined by a single, unbroken thread of history, where the Pax Romana is not a brief interlude, but the foundation of global civilization. It is a testament to the power of adaptation and the idea that an empire can survive not by conquest alone, but by a willingness to embrace new peoples and new ideas. The imperial network, a global communication system, allows citizens to access a vast repository of knowledge, engage in commerce, and communicate instantaneously, all under the auspices of a single, centralized authority. The network and the advanced robotics of automation that power it have created a society of unprecedented leisure and intellectual pursuit for the Roman citizenry.